Welcome to ramwar, the newest class-based first-person shooter that happens to take place entirely inside Minecraft. This is the game where you blow up a sheep with bombs, bombs on arrows, bombs in bubbles, and bombs with legs. This will be a more chill video, catching you up to date on how we publicly released the first version of the game, which, by the way, you can already play on mc.ramwar.net. In the last video, we created an MVP, a minimum viable product, which is the first version of the game that could technically be played. That video will be in the iCard and the description if you're interested in getting caught up. This time around, we dubbed our goal as Strangers vs. Strangers. If two random players can get on the server and play a match of ramwar together, then we've achieved our goal. Also, if you heard, I just said we, as the team now has an official second member. My friend Prismly has joined as a programmer. Now, on to development. The first big goal we tackled was replacing the old weapon code with the brand new modular weapon system. The old weapons were all hard-coded, meaning if we ever wanted to make changes, we'd have to go in and directly change the code itself. Prismly and I looked for all the similarities between the game's 8 weapons and came up with a system that could break them all down into a simple set of values. While it should allow us to assemble the weapons quicker, I'm worried it could potentially complicate things down the line if we ever want more intricate weapons. The system was practically designed as a small game engine, with the hope that in the future it should allow us to add an in-game system for players to not only modify the current weapons, but easily add completely new weapons of their own. We got the whole system implemented and got Bo and Scythe working with it perfectly. We'll go over the specifics of how this system works in a future video, along with the development of the next 6 weapons. Then I used this system to implement Scythe's secondary ability, Scythe Leap, where after crouching for 1 second, you can then jump 4 blocks in the air. I had it mostly working, but there was one final detail I had left, which was removing the charged leap once you jumped. That should be simple though, I just need to detect when the player jumps and... What? What do you mean there's no way to detect when a player jumps? That's literally one of the most basic mechanics of Minecraft! But it's fine, whatever. I looked online and there's ways to test if the player moves up by a certain amount. Now Scythe Leap is removed when jumping. But another issue cropped up regarding its interaction with the modular weapon system. Once you charge the leap and let go of crouch, it's supposed to go away after 2 seconds if you don't use it. However, this didn't seem possible to achieve with the current version of the system. The way I had implemented it allowed you to reset the timer every single time you tapped crouch. As long as you kept crouching occasionally, it would never run out. To fix this, I'd either have to put a massive band-aid on only Scythe, or rework the entire modular weapon system. Or... Now introducing the completely intended mechanic, leap smuggling. I played around with this version of the leap and actually had a ton of fun being able to extend the timer by running around and then crouching. So I decided to keep it for now. Like my favorite quote says, limitation breeds creativity. Instead of letting this issue hold me down, I used it to improve the game. Then I finished off all the changes to Scythe by adding a noise for using its ability bucket. Next, I had to set up the lobbies so that they could be easily controlled by anyone. The previous plugin MVP required chat commands to start the game and whatnot. So now players can just right-click on the corresponding signs to control everything. Players will start in the main lobby where they can hang out and practice the game's mechanics. Then there's a button that anyone can press to begin match prep. This will move all players who are ready into the match prep room, from which everyone selects the map along with their team and weapons. How does it know which players are ready though? With the new Ready Up system. Players can select whether they're ready for or sitting out of the next match with an item in their inventory. Then any player can hit Start Game to initiate a 10-second countdown until the game starts. My goal for this system was to make it feel more like a community, as opposed to just a typical Minecraft minigame. Then, to make sure that lobbies don't get stuck in matches for too long, I added a 5-minute timer. At the moment that means that many games will just end in a tie, but we'll worry about that in the next video once we add the point system. Rounding up lobbies, I finished up with a couple more less interesting but much needed things. Like when a player disconnects during a match and reconnects before that match is over, I want them to be able to continue playing. But I do kill them so that they can't abuse this. If they reconnect later and a different match has started, they'll just be sent to the lobby. And finally, you can leave the game you're currently in by using /quit or /lobby. The MVP only had one working game map, so next I wanted to get all the rest of the maps we built for the command block version of the game working as well. If you remember from the last video, I had to set up all the locations on each map every time I started the server. I got tired of that very quickly. After messing with more dreaded data and serialization, I can now use my old map commands followed by /map_name and /map_save. Then boom! All the locations are saved to a text file on the server. And somehow I got loading the map data back in to work first try? That was more scary than anything else, to be honest. Then we get to a part I was dreading, setting up all 15 maps. This means I had to go to town square, go to red spawn, type /map_rs, then for blue spawn, sheep spawn, red cap, blue cap, then /map. Is this hard? No, I just despise the mundanity of it. Now that all the ramwar maps are playable, we'll need an efficient way to reset all the colored tiles at the start of each match. I tried my best to think of the least laggy way to check and revert all the tiles, but I couldn't come up with anything that wasn't extremely complicated. So instead I said screw it, and just told it to loop through every single block, one by one, in a box that's 100 by 100 by 150 blocks. Let's just do that math real quick and, yep, that's 1.5 million blocks. Well, let's just see how fast that runs and it's instant? Well, color me impressed. I guess there's no reason to do it any other way now. My next big task was I wanted to have better control over the potion effects I give to the players, so I designed my own effect managers. I have managers for jump boost, invisibility, invincibility, glowing, and speed and slowness are combined into the same manager since you should never have both at the same time. They work by accepting effect requests and effect overrides. Effect requests are for non-permanent changes to an effect's level from moment to moment, like the speed and slowness of red and blue tiles, since when you step from one color to the other, the effect changes immediately. Then, effect overrides are for when an effect gets changed for a certain amount of time and can't be stopped by effect requests. A great example being Sight's Bucket, which gives you increased speed for 1 second, even when off tiles, unlike Incog speed, which goes away immediately upon stepping off. Next, I added functionality for several of the game's missing map mechanics. First up is White Glass, the game's semi-solid platform. You can jump up through it from below and crouch to fall back through. And with a single if statement each, we have it working. Following that are neutral tiles. They can't be claimed as they always work for both teams. When you go into Incog mode on them, they grant you speed and ammo, but no invisibility. Neutral tiles can be brown, gray, or white, whatever best suits the map. In ramwar, water equals death. The ram already died in water from the MVP, so now the ram ball and player also die in water. Here's a recreation of the first time I tested this. I fixed that easily though. Then for fun, I added some completely new map mechanics, the speed boost and double speed boost panel. They only give you speed, so no ammo or invisibility, but they don't require you to be in Incog mode, which means you can use your weapon at the same time. And the speed even lasts for a full second after you step off of it. Since this is new, it's not officially in any of the maps yet, but that's an issue for another day. I also added black tiles which slow down all players, but this most likely won't be used in many maps, if any. I just wanted them to make parkour. Now, I need to tell the players what's actually going on at various times. To do this, I use titles, the big text that pops up on your screen. However, I somehow managed to completely miss the .send title function. So instead, I cheated a little and just wrote normal Minecraft commands in command blocks. Then to activate them, I set a redstone block beside them. We had a goal to reach, and I wasn't going to get stuck on a small detail that I had to work around for. The titles now say when match prep starts, when the game is about to start, if the game has been cancelled, if red team or blue team wins, and if there's a tie. Now here's a section of important stuff that didn't fit anywhere else. An integral mechanic of ramwar is something we like to call effing. By pressing F, or your offhand key, you will immediately perish. But that's okay! That's like super useful in ramwar. Since the enemy's only goal is to bring the ram to your base, it's the fastest way to get back and defend. One of the biggest details I left out from the MVP was making the ram carrier glow just like the ram does. Then I added code that says, if hungry, no. So now you never lose hunger. Remember spacing from the last video? That bug that sends you 100 blocks into the air? Well, I got tired of it. So now standing on enemy tiles only slows you down. Your ability to jump is no longer removed, as that was what was causing the bug. To make fights over the ram last longer, there's a system in place that allows players to heal it. Most abilities will change the color of the ram's glow when used beside it, including Bow's arrows, explosive arrows, and Sight's Bucket. Whenever the ram's glow changes from red to blue, or vice versa, it'll be healed back to full health. Prismly came in clutch by helping me with a massive issue. For some reason during games, invulnerable sheep corpses kept showing up. Turns out that the healing mechanic was basically resurrecting the ram shortly after it was killed. Whoops. And with that, all the main code for the Stranger vs. Stranger update is done, but we still need to set it up so players can actually join. First, I turned my attention to the YouTube channel, which had just hit its first 100 subscribers. How is anyone going to play ramwar if they don't know about it? So I made my first big video showing off the game as a whole. Feel free to check that out after if you haven't. It'll be in the iCard and the description. Then the next step to make this game publicly available is to buy a VPS, a virtual private server. A VPS is basically somebody else's computer that always stays on. We'll be running the Minecraft server from there. We'll also need a server IP for everyone to connect to. Surprisingly, I was able to get ramwar.net for only $12 a year, marked down from ramwar.com's very reasonable price of $3,000? Regardless, that means to connect to the server, you'll only need to type in mc.ramwar.net. Then my friend Striped Monkey joined me to help with all the server-related stuff, and thank goodness for that, cause gosh, I hate messing with it. Now we can run multiple Minecraft servers from the one VPS to have multiple lobbies. And now there's signs in the main hub that connect you to each of them. And since this game is going to be public, I realized I should probably clean up the 4 years worth of builds and memes from the original version of the world. I'm gonna miss it all. But this is so much nicer. Hopefully we'll be getting lots of new players soon, and they'll need a tutorial, so I made a book. It contains all the information on how to play the game. I showed the book to a few people, and who am I kidding? No one's gonna read that. So alongside the book, I made a tutorial area that has all the same information, but spread across multiple signs. Then we did a playtest with a completely new group of people to see if they could navigate the lobbies and play a game by themselves. In the end, we concluded that the tutorial was still too wordy to be fully understood. So to fix this, I made my now third version of the tutorial. I upgraded the tutorial area to have as few words as possible, color-coded the important parts, and put as many visuals as possible. Then, to reinforce some of the more important topics, I added a tip system that pops up on screen when relevant. These tips include reminding you to use incog mode, where to take the ram, if you take the ram the wrong direction, and not to attack by spam clicking. And with that, I released the first video along with the server's IP, and ramwar is now officially public! My friends and I popped on the server to play a couple rounds and to see if any new people would show up. To which we immediately found a bug that kept new people from even being able to play the game. The next 20 minutes were some of the most stressful I've had in a while, but we got it fixed. New players just didn't have the permission that allowed them to use the lobby signs. I am incredibly excited to now call my game officially released, as I've been dying to show it off to the world for a long time now. Give it a try yourself at mc.ramwar.net. We are now just one video away from being caught up to where ramwar development is currently at. In the next video, we'll polish all the main mechanics with stuff like the point system and a custom resource pack. Subscribe if you want to keep up to date with the development of the game, and join the Discord to talk and play with the community. If you want to see how I created the first working version of the game, check out the last devlog right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.